Ro Khanna should understand that he is one of the wealthiest people in Congress. He's worth 1,200 times more than the median American household. I'm actually sure he does understand this stuff, but this is such a classic talking point of the left. Let's demonize like this the rich guys are the worst. Let's demonize this small percentage of the population, claim that they're super oppressive and bad, that they're the source of all the problems, and let's take their money. And the masses, which are not super wealthy, are like, well, actually, that sounds okay. What these people don't understand is that at the end of the day, if you take their money, they'll stop creating jobs. And then normal people, like you and I, middle-class people, won't have employment anymore. If you were to confiscate all the money from all the billionaires all over America, you would have between $8 and $9 trillion. But to run all 50 states, all their budgets, and the federal government combined, that would take between $10 and $11 trillion. So around October, November, you'd run out of money if you took all the wealth of every billionaire in the country. Then what? The problem is now not how much money we're taking in or what rich people are getting away with or not paying taxes. The problem is we spend too much damn money. The government never shrinks. It constantly grows, mostly because we have idiots running the government, but also when there's a problem, they don't measure it in reasonable terms. Their solution is just like, let's throw more money at it and let's not do better. For a change, let's just do government better. And the government that governs best is the one that governs least. I didn't come up with that. It certainly doesn't build train tracks to nowhere. Private equity fund manager, real estate investor, and CEO of Cardone Capital and Cardone Technologies, Inc., Grant Cardone. Grant, you still have a non-burned down residence in California. This is insane, this plan.
It is absolute. Well, I don't know if it's insane or not, Carl. I think it's intentional. You cannot have this much incompetence in one location. These people are not stupid, dude. They're trying to bankrupt the state of California and make the federal government responsible for it. I mean, that's the play here, because the federal government can print money forever and save the state of California. In the meantime, though, the average person in California, by the way, I lived there for 25 years. My wife and I and 2 kids left there about 14 years ago because we saw the writing on the wall, steal from the rich, man, and give to Congress.
Yeah.
Look, affordability's out of control. Housing prices out of control there. Gas prices 11% higher than the rest of the country. Utilities 61% higher than the rest of the country. If you make $400,000 there, you're paying probably
you're in poverty.
$160,000 in taxes, more than you need to if you live in Arizona, Utah, Texas, or Florida.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's like I was looking at something the other day that showed that you need a minimum of $250,000 a year just to survive in California, which is its own problem. But this is the problem is Democrats now. There was a poll recently done. It was like 50 or 60% of Democrats believe that socialism is good, and only 30-something% believe that capitalism, there it is right there. 58% says, yay, socialism. 32% said, yay, capitalism. Are you kidding me?
It's because nobody's teaching them capitalism. Dude, if you give handouts, you break people down. Okay? The moment I give you something, you don't need to learn anything. And this is what's happening. And people know it, by the way. I don't think the further these guys in California and New York go, the better it is for the rest of America, because it's just clear to conservative Democrats, to intellectual, analytical, logical, common base, religious believing families across America, the Democrat or Republicans, like, they don't want handouts. Yeah. They want to work hard. They want to save their money. They want to buy a house. There's a statistic out there, Carl, that says you have a 48% better chance of owning a home when you leave California than if you stay there. It's the most expensive housing in America, and they don't allow you to build anything, and they allow anyone to come there. And by the way, if you come there illegally, you get more benefits than if you do it legally.
Well, you actually, and you're speaking about building there. I want to jump around a little bit before I get back to Mark Cuban. You had a house there that partially burned down because of the fires, because they didn't fill up the reservoirs and the fire hydrants were off. Yeah. And you said it's like just the biggest pain in the rear to try to get any permit to put a shingle on.
I had to threaten a lawsuit for them to approve my house. They were threatening to have me tear the house down to the ground and rebuild it in entirety rather than simply fixing it. This is true, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like, there it is right there.
Yeah.
The only 26 homes burnt down to the left of me, to the east of me, or west of me, 80 homes to the west of me. I'm the only one surviving. You would think that Malibu would use it as the home of hope. Instead, they wanted me, literally threatened to have me tear that perfectly in place house. They wanted me to tear it down to the ground and spend $50 million to rebuild it. I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for me, by the way. I fought them and won. And we're finally putting our house back together, but I'm still going to be on a vacant beach.
I tell you, if I had your kind of money, I would just invest in lawsuits to ruin liberals. But that's just my thing. Mark Cuban, though, this is a guy who held the hand of the left. He pushed for a bunch of these policies. He's one of the most outspoken critics about Ro Khanna's plan. He's actually coming around. He said, you can bet if I'm investing in a multi-billion-dollar startup, I'm asking them to move from California first. In my opinion, if this passes, only idiot startup founders stay in Cali. I've done it before, and I will do it again. Dallas, Pittsburgh, Indiana, I will make not being in California a prerequisite for any investment. Ideology is not a strategy, Ro.
Yeah. And what he's telling people is, by the way, Mark tends to move with the wind, right?
Sure.
But, I think he's got political ambitions trying to please a lot of people.
Good luck.
But look, what he's also saying there is he's not going to invest in founders that start in California because you're going to be taxed out of the game.
Right.
We left there 14 years ago for one reason, taxes and regulations. Couldn't get anything done there. I was getting sued every 3 weeks by whoever for whatever. I have 5 lawsuits going on right now from the state of California, and I don't even live in the state of California. This is people buying products from me in Florida that are using the system, bro. It's insane. And unfortunately, because it's probably the greatest piece of real estate on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And we need it. We need California to do well and to be prosperous and flourish. And the U-Hauls tell the whole story right there. Yeah. When you can't get a U-Haul,
it ain't going to fix it under Gavin Newsom, that's for sure. Well, Grant Cardone, I hope your house gets fixed and you don't get sued too many more times. Appreciate it.
I'll be fine, bro. I'll be fine either way.
All right. I appreciate it.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.